Welcome to the July 2022 Pasadena Climate Update. My name is Edgar McGregor. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the climate statistics here in Pasadena, California over the last month. I'm going to be discussing the very active 2022 Southern California monsoon season. I'm going to be going over the year-to-date statistics here in Pasadena for average temperatures, see how 2022 is shaping up in terms of the climate crisis out here, and look at the drought situation plus rainfall forecasts for this next winter into 2023. So I got a long video today. Normally I would make these posts in writing and I'd put them onto Facebook next door and put a few graphs onto Twitter. Unfortunately, my main mode of communication with my neighbors with this data is through Facebook, and Facebook has an automatic bot that keeps taking down my posts for spam because I do things like mention temperature a lot and use the degree symbol a lot and use the word thunderstorm a lot, and so it keeps taking down my posts just a few minutes after I put them up, and it's really quite annoying because I spend quite a bit of time on these things and I want folks to enjoy it. Now, I've been making these monthly climate posts for the last several months because I think it is really important for people to understand how climate change is impacting their local areas. Oftentimes when we hear about climate change or when we see it in the media, it is occurring in faraway places or it is occurring in the future. It's not necessarily in the here and now, and that is what I'm trying to bring to the table here for all of my neighbors here in the western San Gabriel Valley. So let's begin, shall we? I'm going to be talking a little bit about the monsoon, climate update, and the rainfall forecasts for later this year. I'm not sure if I just said that, but let's jump right into this. We've had two large monsoon surges here in Southern California over the last week. The first one lasted from July 29th through 31st. It brought an enormous amount of precipitation to eastern California, southern Nevada, and western Arizona. Now, this was a predominantly hit and miss type monsoon. We had a lot of places that really got hit hard with heavy precipitation. These dark reds, purples, that indicates several inches of rainfall over just a few days. This mostly happened in some of the mountains out in the Mojave Desert. Sierra Nevada picked up on that, as well as the San Bernardino Mountains just northeast of the Los Angeles Basin. Other areas got no rainfall whatsoever. The LA Basin missed out entirely. A lot of the Coachella Valley missed out, and parts of the Mojave Desert didn't get any rainfall at all. And so it really was just a very hit and miss type of monsoon. But this is one of the strongest monsoon surges for this part of California we've seen in years, and it's been very beneficial to the local ecosystems, especially between Barstow and Las Vegas. Now, we saw another monsoon surge on August 2nd through August 5th. This precipitation event was more uniform. There wasn't as many hot spots where we saw several inches of rainfall. It was really just a very large rain shield moving across the Mojave Desert, once again hitting the San Bernardino Mountains. Ventura County Mountains got in a little bit, and the Sierra Nevada Mountains picked up quite a bit of rainfall as well. Again, unfortunately, we just barely missed out in the LA Basin. We were watching the monsoons to come in and hopefully some thunderstorms to drift off the mountains into the valleys. There was the chance for that to happen, but it just didn't pan out, unfortunately, with either event. We did get some rainfall in southern Orange County during both events, surprisingly, but that did not really wet the ground. It wasn't really any beneficial rainfall. It was just kind of, it was, I guess, dramatic. It didn't really have any impact on the ecosystem. It was just like, oh, it's raining in August, how cool. But it doesn't really help all that much. Taking a look at the July 6th through August 4th precipitation over the last month here in the United States West, we can see just how active the monsoon season has been. Now, the colors in yellows, reds, and oranges, those are below average precipitation over the last month. The greens, blues, and purples are above average precipitation in the past month, and it's based on percentage of average, which you can see on the color wheel down below here. Take a look at the Mojave Desert, parts of Arizona, and southern Nevada. We've seen over 200 to 400% of average precipitation in the last month in these areas. That's a lot of rainfall coming down. Again, a lot of it has missed the south coast of Southern California. It's really stayed inland a lot and hasn't really come towards the Los Angeles basin, but hopefully the monsoon season will continue over the next several weeks. We should see more chances of precipitation out here, and hopefully we can get a little bit. Again, it's not going to be any beneficial rainfall, but it does help out the fire situation at least the next couple of weeks following the rainfall. Now, on to the July 2022 Pasadena climate statistics. The average temperature for this July was 78.25 degrees Fahrenheit. This is nearly a degree above what is expected for 2022. Now, what I mean by that is when I look at a graph such as this one that shows the shift in average July temperature over the last 115 years, the actual average temperature is changing throughout that period as the urban heat island of Los Angeles gets more intense and as global climate change continues. Now, July 2022 here at the last dot here is just under 1 degree above where the blue trend line is. Essentially what this trend line means is there's a 50% chance of any given year being above or below the trend line, regardless of how much the climate changes during that period. So we were about a degree above what we'd expect for 2022. Unfortunately, climate has changed quite a bit in July, and we are 6.5 degrees above what we were in the early 20th century. The average high temperature for July was 91.65 degrees. This is about 1.65 degrees above what we'd expect in 2022, and about 4.25 degrees above the early 20th century average. The average low temperature was about 65 degrees, which is pretty close to what we'd expect in 2022, but the problem is that July average low temperatures during the nighttime have warmed significantly over the last 115 years. And so even though we were about average in terms of average low temperatures, we were still nearly 9 degrees above the early 20th century average, which is just incredible. The hottest day was 97 degrees on July 17th and 19th. The coolest day was 84 degrees on July 4th, and the warmest night was 71 degrees on July 18th and 31st. This really highlights when the monsoon surges came into Southern California because during the overnight hours, when you have all that humidity and moisture in the air, it's much harder for the atmosphere to cool off. It can't radiate that heat out into space nearly as easily. You might notice during some of those really cold winter nights, it's also very dry out in the atmosphere. So warm nights in summertime probably mean it's very moist out. The coldest night was 60 degrees on July 13th, which is pretty warm for the coldest day of the year, or coldest night of the year, or of the month, sorry. July 2022 is the 12th hottest July on record here in Southern California, at least this part of the Los Angeles basin. Now, this is where statistics get quite incredible. Looking at all the months throughout the entire year so far in 2022, June was the hottest June on record here in Pasadena. Out of 115 Junes ever recorded, that was the hottest we've ever experienced. I think there were like 14 days over 90 degrees, which is totally unheard of during that month. March and April were both the third hottest March and April on record. February was the 5th hottest February on record, while January was the 9th hottest January on record. May and July were the 12th hottest May and July on record. Now, having all 7 months being the top 12 place for the hottest of their version on record is simply incredible, right? I mean, to be in the middle would be like the, 60th, maybe, yeah, 60th hottest on record, or 60th coolest on record. We don't see any of that. We don't see any 32nd hottest on record. We don't see any 78th hottest on record. Nope. Everything is in the top 10% of the hottest months on record. And this is why we are running in 3rd place for the hottest year ever recorded here in Pasadena. Average highs, however, are running in 1st place for the hottest ever in Pasadena, while average lows are running in 3rd place. Take a look at this. This is the year-to-date average daily temperature anomaly through July 31st. Essentially, the graph on the left is I'm taking the daily temperature of every single day from January 1st through July 31st of every single year and throwing onto a graph. This is how I know that 2022 is currently in 3rd place for the hottest year ever recorded. We're right behind the leaders 2014 and 2015. The number 4 spot is currently held by 2021 as of July 31st, and it's significantly further away from the 4th place than we are from 2nd place. So it is very unlikely that we'll move from this placement anytime soon. The graph on the right is looking at the shift in average annual temperature over the last 115 years in Pasadena. It's just looking at all the years combined, or the entire year, not just the January 1st through July 31st period. You can see here how the two leaders, 2014 and 2015, separated a little bit. That's because the latter half of 2014 was warmer than the latter half of 2015. So those two dots kind of drifted from each other. Take a note here at how 2020 and 2021 were the third and fourth hottest years on record, respectively. 2022 is trending well above where 2021 was at this time. So we are very likely going to be in the second or third place for the hottest year ever recorded here in Pasadena. I don't think we're going to beat 2014. Part of 2014 was the exceptionally warm overnight low temperatures that were predominantly helped by the warm sea surface temperatures off the coastline. Whenever we have onshore flow, that tends to lead to cooler days and cooler nights as well. And all of that, humid, cool air coming in off the ocean is only cool because the ocean temperatures are cool. If the ocean temperatures are a lot warmer, the source of that cool air is not going to be nearly as cool. And so, during months like October, November, and December, when it should be a lot cooler at night, that onshore flow would keep overnight low temperatures relatively warm, and that's why 2014 separated from 2015. Taking a look at the change in year-to-date average high temperatures, once again, this is from the January 1st through July 31st period, we can see that so far this year, 2022 has an average high temperature of 81.35 degrees Fahrenheit. That's incredible. Not only are we several degrees above what the trend-based average would be for 2022, but we are nearly 9 degrees above what was average in the early 20th century. That's 9 extra degrees added onto every single day so far this year. That's simply incredible. Taking a look at the change in year-to-date average low temperatures, once again from January 1st through July 31st, you can see why we're in third place and not in first place. Here, 2014 and 2015 really stand out with their warm sea surface temperatures, keeping our overnight lows very warm, whereas a lot of other years, such as 2019, where we had very cold sea surface temperatures, had very cool overnight low temperatures. We are in third place for the hottest year ever recorded in terms of average low temperatures to date, but that's not really saying much because the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place are right behind us by like not even 2/10 of a degree. And so we will be shifting around in placements several times before the end of the year. We're not beating 2014 or 2015 in this statistic. Taking a look at the annual count of days at or over 90 degrees through July 31st, once again, we can see that 2022 is running in first place for the most 90-degree days so far this year. We've seen 51 days reach that threshold. I looked at the record books, and there was actually most of the years before 1950 that never saw 51 days over 90 degrees for the entire year. And we haven't even had August, September, October, or November yet, which will all add to this counter. Now, this is through July 31st for every single year. It's not including those months for any of the other years either. But to be in first place in the statistic and to be, I think, about 3 or 4 days ahead of the second place is pretty incredible. Now, let's take a look at the daily high temperatures because, as I just said, we are running in first place for the hottest year ever recorded in terms of daily high temperatures. If you live in Pasadena, this might be a little bit surprising to you given how few heat waves there truly have been this year. There's only been 2 days so far that have reached 100 degrees, both of which happened in June. Other than that, we just have not seen any heat waves so far this year. But look at the temperature anomalies over the last 7 months. Look how often we're above average, right? The red line here is the average daily temperature for every single day of the year so far. The blue temperature is the observed high temperature in 2022. You can see the big heat wave we had in early April where we reached 98 degrees. You can see the heat wave we had in mid-February where we reached 90 degrees. And you can see the warm spells in May, another one in June, and some more hot weather during a monsoon surge in mid-July. But there's been very, very few cool days. And if there are, It's only a couple of them. What I'm going to do in this next graph is I'm actually going to smoothen out that average high temperature and just look at the daily high temperature anomalies. Anomaly essentially means how far away it is from the average. If you're well above zero, which the zero line is right here, that means you're about, let's say, 20 degrees above average. If you're below zero, say on this negative 10 degree line, you're 10 degrees below average for that day. Look at this. Look how many days are above average so far this year, and look how few are below average. Additionally, take a note at how there is only one day that was more than 10 degrees below average. Just one. Meanwhile, we had dozens of days that were more than 10 degrees above average. And also take a look at this. Note how we're doing several weeks in a row, every single day above average. No exceptionally hot days, it's just we are so frequently above average. That is why we are experiencing our hottest year ever recorded in terms of average high temperatures. We'll go 10, maybe 20 days without ever seeing a below average day. That's simply incredible. Now, taking a look at summer 2022, we currently have a greater than 50% chance of this being our hottest summer ever recorded here in Pasadena. Now, a big asterisk for this because summer in Southern California is very different from summer in other parts of the Northern Hemisphere. To remain consistent with the rest of the world, I have to define summer as June, July, and August. But if you live here, you will know that September and October are excruciatingly hot months. In fact, September is hotter than August. September is hotter than July. August is the hottest month of the year, followed by September, then it's July, then it's June, and then it's October. And so to leave off the second hottest month of the year as a summer month, it's really difficult to do, but I have to do it in order to remain consistent with the rest of the Northern Hemisphere. So given that definition of summer being June, July, and August, we are currently running in third place for the hottest summer ever recorded here in Pasadena. Actually, I forgot about this. We're running in second place. This graph here is slightly something wrong with it. This is the shift in average summer temperature for June, July, and August of every single year. However, 2022, the last dot here, doesn't include August because August hasn't happened yet, right? I'm making this on August 6th. The data hasn't been put in. So August is our hottest month of the year. And leaving off August, we're in third place for the hottest summer ever recorded here in Pasadena. If August falls perfectly on the trend line over here on the left, that's all it takes for this to be the hottest summer ever recorded. If it's anywhere above average, even a tenth of a degree above average or 3 degrees above average, we are set in stone for the hottest summer ever recorded. Already, it's August 6th, and all these days have been well above average. Taking a look at the forecast temperature anomaly for the second half of August, it looks like we're going to be well above average, and so it seems appropriate to say that we are currently living in the midst of Pasadena's hottest summer ever recorded. Again, it's kind of difficult to say this given how hot September and October can be, but one thing I want to mention about the year 2020, because that was a really bad summer for us. Looking at these temperature anomalies, which graph do I want here? Let me see here. This one. Yes, the change in year-to-date average high temperatures. This is 2020, right? Summer 2020 did not begin until like August 15th. Once August 15th rolled around, we started getting hit by enormous heat waves. 109 degrees, which was our hottest temperature in August ever recorded. 115 degrees in September, which was not only our hottest September heat wave ever, but our hottest heat wave period in the entire history book. And we had 107 degrees in early October, which was almost the hottest heat wave ever recorded in October. So, in order to define summer as just being the June, July, August period, you gotta leave off September, and it's really tough to do, and I really don't like doing it, but I would say that while this is going to be the hottest summer ever recorded in Pasadena, consider fall as not actually fall, just summer 2.0 here, because you're including September and October, which are some of the hottest months of the year. Taking a look at the September forecast for temperature anomalies, yep, it is going to be well above average out here in the entire state of California. Same with October. So we've got a rough second half of the summer to go. We're going to continue to get some monsoon surges coming through here, and it is going to remain very warm, especially in the overnight hours. Now, I want to take a look here at the precipitation forecast for this following winter. Starting in August, this CFS version 2 model begins to really get better at forecasting precipitation trends for the winter season in the western United States. Last year in August, this same model was predicting October and December to be wetter than average, and November, January, February, March, and April to all be drier than average. That is exactly what transpired in California. October was slightly wetter than average with a few huge atmospheric rivers. November was dry. December was very wet across the state. Mammoth had I think its third wettest December ever recorded. Pasadena had its third wettest December ever recorded. It was just buckets of rain for days on end between the 14th and the 31st. And then in January, the entire faucet shut off. There was very few storms after that, and the CFS model gained a lot of respect in my eyes. Interestingly, the CFS model is forecasting that exact same scenario to play out once again this year. This is the total accumulated precipitation anomaly for December 2022. It does look like it's going to be wetter than average for the Golden State and much of the interior western United States. This is great news for the drought situation. Unfortunately, as we head into January, February, and March, which are typically wetter than December is, at least here in Southern California, it does look like it's going to be a lot drier than average, and we're going to once again start off the year with a lot more heat waves in the 80s and maybe even lower 90s during the first couple months of 2023. So I thought I had another graph in here. It seems to be missing, sadly. But, oh no, it is this one. I want to mention about the below average temperatures here in eastern Arizona, western New Mexico, and northern Mexico. This indicates a very strong monsoon surge to continue throughout the desert Southwest through August. Thankfully, what this means, actually, thankfully is a blessing and a curse. What this means is that we're going to continue to see monsoon surges moving into Southern California. While monsoon means cooler than average for this part of the world, for part of the desert Southwest, active monsoons mean warmer than average temperatures in Southern California because you're bringing in all of that humidity. It's kind of, it's cooler than average here and warmer than average here during dead monsoons, and then it's the opposite during active monsoons. It's kind of interesting. So, while this is good news for us, because hopefully it might mean some more precipitation during the month of August, it's bad news for us given the exceptionally high temperatures that will also be arriving. It's kind of, as I said, a blessing and a curse. So we will see how 2022 continues to play out. It does look like August, September, and October will be very warm. Hopefully December will be cooler than average thanks to above average precipitation. It's too early to really pinpoint exactly if that's going to pan out. The CFS model was perfectly forecasted last year's winter. Does not mean it's going to perfectly forecast this year's winter. Anything can truly happen. We can have a total dud of a winter season, or we could be about to be having one of the wettest winters ever recorded. So whatever happens, continue to reduce your water usage, continue to reduce your energy usage. Try and plant trees in Southern California. I know here in Pasadena we've lost a lot of mature trees over the last several weeks even with how hot and dry it's been. I mean, if anyone's wondering why we're losing so many of these stone pines, the average high has been 81 degrees so far this year, which is the hottest ever recorded. That might be part of why. So that is it for your July 2022 Pasadena climate update. If you have any comments, please let me know below. If you think I should have done something different, if I included too much information, if this was way too long, if it was too short, if my mic is terrible, let me know what you want me to change. This is the first time I've ever made a video like this, and so I'm completely open to suggestions here. Thanks for watching.